In a quiet little town, where snowflakes dance in the air like twinkling stars, there lived a small girl named Alice with a heart full of wonder. On the night before Christmas, as the world outside shimmered in a blanket of snow, her room glowed with the soft light of Christmas cheer. A tiny tree sparkled in the corner, its ornaments holding stories of magic and joy. The air was filled with the sweet scent of pine, and the soft glow of candles whispered of dreams yet to be made. This was a night like no other, a night where anything felt possible, and every star in the sky seemed to wink in delight at the promise of Christmas morning.
Merry Christmas, Alice. You're up early? Can't wait to see your presents, huh?
There's a big star outside my window. Never seen anything like it.
It does seem special, doesn't it? You know, that star reminds me of another one that shone just as brightly a long, long time ago. The Star of Bethlehem. It's part of the Nativity Story about Mary and Joseph, 3 wise men, and the journey they took to find a newborn king. And in their journey, they discovered something even greater than the gifts they carried. See, long before there were stars leading kings across deserts, there was a young couple with a monumental task. Mary, kind and brave, was pregnant with baby Jesus. The Roman emperor had called for a census, which basically meant everyone had to travel back to their hometowns to be counted. For Mary and Joseph, that was Bethlehem, a long journey from where they lived in Nazareth.
They didn't have a car?
They didn't have a car or even a wagon, just a donkey. Mary rode on its back while Joseph walked beside her, leading the way. Together they traveled through deserts blanketed in fog, up rocky hills and across wide plains, all under the glow of a brilliant, starry night sky. It wasn't an easy trip. The nights were cold, the roads rough, but they kept moving forward with faith that everything would be okay. After miles of travel, they finally arrived in Bethlehem, a bustling little town surrounded by hills, its stone homes glowing softly under the moonlight. But here's the twist. When they got there, all the inns were full. Not a single room in the whole place.
So what did they do?
They found shelter in a stable. Yep, where the animals lived. Picture it, Mary and Joseph in a little barn with hay, sheep, maybe a cow or two, and a manger, a feeding trough for animals. And that's where Jesus was born. Not in a palace or a fancy room, but in the humblest of places. They wrapped him in cloth and laid him in the manger. Despite the simplicity of it all, it was magical. The night was calm, the stars brighter than ever, and there was a sense that something extraordinary had just begun.
Look, the star is showing
3 wise men. They were more than just travelers. They were scholars, advisors, and seekers of truth. There was Caspar, a learned man from India, Melchior, a respected elder from Persia, and Balthasar, a nobleman from Ethiopia. They spent their lives studying the stars and interpreting great mysteries, which is why they followed the brilliant star in the sky to Jerusalem, searching for a newborn king. Riding into the city on their camels, they stopped to ask everyone,
"Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews?"
"We've seen his star and have come to worship him." But the news spread like wildfire.
Why does he look so mean?
When King Herod heard about the wise men and their search for a new king, he wasn't excited. Oh no, he was furious. Still, he put on his best fake smile and called for them to come to his palace. Knowing they were about to meet a ruler, the wise men took great care to change into their finest robes. They knew how to make an impression. Once they arrived, Herod greeted them warmly and said, "Go and find this baby king, and when you do, come back and tell me where he is, so I can worship him too."
Did they trust him?
Well, they were called wise for a reason. The wise men set out again. They traveled through deserts blanketed in fog, up rocky hills and across wide plains, all under the glow of a brilliant, starry night sky. Every step brought them closer to the child they had traveled so far to find. When they reached Bethlehem, the star stopped, shining brighter than ever over a humble home. Not a palace, not a grand temple, just an ordinary dwelling. And inside, they found him. Jesus, the child who would one day change the world.
Was he special? Could they tell?
Oh, they knew. They knelt down before him, laying their gifts at his feet, gold for a king, frankincense for a priest, and myrrh for the one who would sacrifice. Each gift spoke of who he was and what he would become.
And what about that mean-looking King Herod?
Ah, Herod. He had no idea the wise men wouldn't return to him. They were warned in a dream not to go back, so they took a different road. All the way home. But Herod, Herod was not a man to let such defiance go unanswered. What he would do next would shake the land to its core. But that's a story for another time. So, what do you think? What did their journey teach you?
I think they followed the star because of their faith. They didn't need a palace. Faith and love made their journey special, right?
Exactly. Faith is the light that guides us, no matter how uncertain the road ahead may be.